Hey, welcome to Delta. Governor, where they want.
Hi, my name is Fretless, and I live in Asaba, capital city of Delta State. As an entertainer, my job entails a lot of movement from one place to the other, and also to be at the right place at the right time, meaning that I need good roads to be able to meet up with work or appointments. And with the new government reform on construction and rehabilitation of all major and feeder roads in the state as part of its smart agenda, it has become so easy for me to move around at all times. Now, I just cruise from street to street, city to city, all over the state. And even apart from the roads as I move along daily, I see magnificent projects everywhere. Check out this one in Warri and several other places. Wow. Governor Kowa is indeed a man with a vision. Thanks to his transformation ingenuity in just 4 years of an administrative journey. Imagine another 4 years.
Correct with Kowa. Power to the people.
Hello, nice to have you join us on the live studios of Deltascope. Deltascope is a television program that plays host to aspirants, candidates vying for elective positions in Delta State. The program so far has got our aspirants, our candidates tell us or sell their manifestos to their constituents and propose a way forward in executing their plans for their constituents when and if eventually voted into power. My name is Onome Iyarowe. On this episode of Deltascope, the crew met with a wonderful legislator, an engineer by training, a lawyer, a legal luminary, and so much more to his CV. You need to find out about this amazing personality. He is no other than Honorable Reuben Rume Yakubu Izeze, member representing Ughelli South Constituency in the Delta State House of Assembly. He's seeking re-election to represent the good people of Ughelli South Constituency at the Delta State House of Assembly. When our crew met with him, he told us so much he has done for his people, that's the people of Ughelli South Constituency, and what he intends to do for his people to better their lives by way of bringing the dividends of democracy to his constituents. This interview with Honorable Reuben Rume Yakubu Izeze will amaze you. Let's go join the crew and see what it brought back.
Honorable Reuben Rume Yakubu Izeze. Nice to be with you, sir.
Pleasure is mine, Dr. William.
Thank you, sir. Okay, quick one. You have been in government for a while, you know, from private sector where you're PRO. Tell us about yourself, basically. Let me not tell your history. Tell us about your history.
I'm Comrade Ughelli Rume Yakubu Izeze. I presently represent the wonderful and peace-loving people of Ughelli South State Constituency in the Delta State House of Assembly. I also serve as chairman of the Committee of Rules, Business, Legal and Judicial Matters in the House. Well,
before you came to the House, I mean, at a point you were SSA, a point twice you've been an advisor to the government and all that.
Well, I studied petroleum engineering. At a point I was an employee of the ExxonMobil, one of the biggest multinational production companies in Nigeria. But because of the desire and realizing that the fastest way to develop our communities and our people would be government. It has always been government. When the opportunity came, when I was called upon by His Excellency Chief James Onanife Bori to come and serve him as a special assistant on student affairs, that is when I joined the public service of Delta State. From there, I joined His Excellency Governor Emmanuel Iwe Taudouan as his special assistant on protocols during his first tenure, and in his second tenure, I was the senior special assistant on protocols. It was at the expiration of his tenure that I decided that it was time to move further. Having learnt the ropes serving 2 executive governors, I decided it was time to try representing my people in a legislative capacity. Now we're serving the people of Ughelli South.
Okay. Servitude. What was your first 4 years in the assembly like?
The 4 years is still counting. It's been a learning experience. It's been wonderful. For me, I was prepared ab initio before I decided to seek the mandate of my people. So learning the business of lawmaking was not too difficult for me. Having been Speaker of the Student Representative Council of the Petroleum Training Institute while I was a student, lawmaking was already something I was familiar with. So I would say I hit the ground running in terms of the legislative aspect. It is the politics of the House that I needed to learn. And by the grace of God, we've been able to learn that there's a wide margin between politics in government and the politics of the union and civil society. I think that was where we had a little challenge, and it's still a learning process. You continue to learn in politics.
Okay, fine. I mean, so for this, I like to call it 4 years. I mean, whether we like it or not, it's going to be 4 years. You know, what have you been able to achieve for your people? I mean, you said you went then to serve your people, the good people of Ughelli. What have your people benefited from?
Now,
You.
for us, when we started our campaign, when we started seeking the mandate of our people, we didn't have a bogus campaign. We didn't make any bogus promises. I'm the first person to go around the 69 communities that make up Ughelli South in the course of a campaign. We promised 2 things, basically: effective representation and robust legislation. Those were the 2 things we promised. Effective representation in the sense that whatever it was that was the challenge of those communities we had visited in the course of our campaign, we tabulated them, went into a think tank, and put everything into a book, which we call the Ughelli South Roadmap. And we were going to tackle all those challenges and present them as representatives, present them before the executive. In the course of appropriation, we're going to be very, very vigilant to ensure that whatever it was we had presented to the executive was captured in the budget that was presented to the House. I am the first Deltan, the first member of the Delta State House of Assembly to have held a constituency briefing since the return of democracy in 1999. The first. Now, the basis of the constituency briefing is that we go back annually, we report what we have been doing to our people, we take more of the challenges that have come up in the course of the year, and we tabulate it, and I sit with His Excellency with the report from the briefing. And based on the availability of resources, we agree on which are the most critical areas he needs to address. And I can tell you, in the last 3.5 years, and I say this without any form of equivocation, I'm not playing politics, no government, none. I was a part of 2 of the previous administrations. No government has shown the level of commitment that the Dr. Efeanyi Arthur Okowa administration has shown to the infrastructural challenges of Ughelli South. That is a product of our promise, effective representation. I can start reeling out projects that had been abandoned, that were never touched, that Okowa administration has addressed.
Now that's executive.
That is
From
effective representation. Okay. We presented these problems, these challenges before the governor. He cannot be everywhere. That is the essence of being a representative. Because you are grounded, you are grassrooted, you know the challenges, and it is your responsibility to present it to the executive. And of course, lobby, apply some pressure to ensure that the executive implements those projects that are able to be captured in the budget. Okay, and then, robust legislation. In terms of lawmaking, with all modesty, as a first-timer, we've been able to sponsor, as lead sponsors, 6 bills. We've also co-sponsored about 23 other bills. And I can tell you that as a chairman of the Committee on Rules, Business, Legal and Judicial Matters, our committee has produced the highest number of bills that the governor has assented to. The highest number of bills that have been signed into law in this administration are products of the House Committee on Business, Rules, Legal and Judicial Matters. That is robust legislating. So we have kept our promises.
Great. And promise kept. I mean, you can't lose a winning team, can you? You can't disband a winning team. That's why I guess your people are saying go back. Am I correct?
Well, the delegates spoke within the party. Yes, the delegates said go back. Now we're still campaigning. As you can see, we're in a rural community where we came to inspect our constituency project, and that's where you caught up with us, and that's where this interview is taking place. This is Adaka Primary School in Okpavero, Olomu. The building you're seeing that is under construction was as dilapidated as the one that is adjacent to it. And if you look opposite this building, that's a whole new building that you're seeing. It was worse than this before the administration of Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi Chukwuokowa took it up. That, for me, is the promise kept. Maybe, perhaps, because of these promises we have kept, we shall know when the votes are counted on Saturday, the 9th of May, if our people are appreciative of our votes. But we do know for sure that anytime, any day, in any form of election, so long as it is free and fair, secret ballot, open ballot, whatever form, the PDP will win in Ughelli South.
Okay, fine. Thank you. I want to ask you a very simple question. What are you offering next? I mean, we're there 4 years now. You're going for 4 years. Hopefully, you're going to enter the house. You know, what are we expecting from you?
Consolidation. We're going to consolidate on what we have done. Effective representation and robust legislating. We will continue that, and we're going to consolidate. There's nothing we're going to do differently. We're just going to make sure that those areas, due to the unavailability or the scarcity of resources, those areas, those communities whose challenges we've not been able to deal with as an administration, we're going to ensure that we bring them to the front burner. Those laws that for one reason or the other we're not able to deal with because of the bulk of bills that came into the House, we will see that we reactivate them to get them assented to so that those laws will affect the lives of our people positively.
The challenges faced in most communities in Delta State has to do with youth restiveness, unemployment basically, lack of infrastructures, and all that. How have you been able to deal with youth restiveness within your community?
Ughelli South, to be very honest, Ughelli South is not one of those communities that you would describe as one that is faced by youth restiveness. Rather, I would say massive youth unemployment. That is the biggest challenge we face. And one of the reasons why we face that challenge is because over time, the government, the federal government, had ignored the most critical areas of our economy that will drive employment. Power, road infrastructure, rail infrastructure, transportation basically. The federal government abandoned that. And because of the nature of the constitution that makes electricity generation, that's power itself, everything about power, generation, transmission, distribution, everything is in the exclusive legislative list. It has hampered the states. And that is why I'm one of the advocates of restructuring. It has hampered the states. Ughelli South has very quality young men who are willing to work. But government alone cannot employ every employable young man. Now, the federal government has hampered the states in the ability of the states to drive infrastructural development that would drive economic development. Critically, power is one of those areas. Until such a time that we improve on our power infrastructure such that young men with brilliant ideas who need electricity to power their computers, who want to be software engineers, can have power at taken for granted, not having to look for money to set up, to get the generating set. That dry cleaner who wants to go into the dry cleaning business is hampered because he needs power. The The barber in the barbing salon who wants to set up a modern barbing salon is hampered because he needs power. Until we address those areas, we'll keep churning out graduates who cannot get jobs. Government alone cannot employ all of them.
We do hope that as we move forward as a nation, we'll address those areas.
We'll sit down as a people and think of how we can amend those areas of the Constitution that will allow us to devolve more powers to the states and remove some of those critical economic indices, remove them from the exclusive legislative list so that states can flourish at their own pace. When that is done, we believe youth restlessness would be addressed. But I must commend the administration of Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi for taking the bull by the horns and deciding that irrespective of the challenges, he was going to look forward and look at the positives. The Step Ya Get program, I do know because I did nominate some young persons, has produced quite a number of entrepreneurs in Ughelli South. I also had my own personal skill acquisition program. Somewhere around the village, 2 villages from here, there's a young man who is an employer of labor today. He has his own poultry farm. Some across the local government, at least about 4 of them, have their own poultry farms from the skill acquisition program of the Izeze office. And by God's grace, it has, to a large extent, taken off some persons from the pool of unemployed. And today, they are employers, so we must commend
that program. But is that enough? That is not enough.
We need to address the issue of critical infrastructure, particularly power in this nation, so that we can create more young entrepreneurs, more employers of labor, rather than keep choking the employment market that actually doesn't exist. For a market to exist, labor, demand, and price. Labor, supply, and price must all be at least a state of equilibrium. But here we are, so much supply, very little demand, price, which is the wages, practically not a living wage. So we do hope as a nation we'll address those issues.
Everybody make we testify.
I know him not just as a senator, not just as a hard-working person. I'm not surprised at his accomplishments. And I'm indeed very grateful that he's been able to bring the people of Delta together under one roof, under justice, fairness, equity, that will recommend this to other parts of the country.
Everybody make we testify.
Vote Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa as Governor, Delta State. Vote PDP.
This message is brought to you by Chief Patrick Uka, the Akatakwenyi one of Okpanam Kingdom.
Hey, welcome to Delta. Governor, where they want to go.
Hi, my name is Fretless, and I live in Asaba, capital city of Delta State. As an entertainer, my job entails a lot of movement from one place to the other, and also to be at the right place at the right time, meaning that I need good roads to be able to meet up with work or appointments. And with the new government reform on construction and rehabilitation of all major and feeder roads in the state as part of a smart agenda, it has become so easy for me to move around at all times. Now, I just cruise from street to street, city to city, all over the state. And even apart from the roads as I move along daily, I see magnificent projects everywhere. Check out this one in Warri and several other places. Wow. Governor Okowa is indeed a man with a vision. Thanks to his transformation ingenuity in just 4 years of an administrative journey. Imagine another 4 years.
Correct with Okowa. PDP! Power to the people!
Okay, Honorable Izeze, I'm going to ask you to look at this camera. That's where your people are, and tell them why they should vote you on Saturday.
My dear people of Ughelli South, we made 2 promises when we came to your communities, and they were that we were going to represent you and present all your challenges. Effective representation was the first promise, and that we were going to make laws that will impact positively on your lives. Robust legislation, our second promise. Today, we have kept that promise. The Otugemi of our Okwagbe Road is a different project that had never been rehabilitated since Ibrahim Babangida left office. Today, it is a brand new road. The Ekakpamre Osefun Ekrokpe Road was in a total state of disrepair. Today, it is a brand new road awaiting commissioning. The Ekakpamre Township Road has been rehabilitated. The Okpare, Umolo, Owodokpopo, Kiagbodo Road was in a total state of disrepair when we campaigned into your communities. Today, it is a smooth drive. When we came to Efroto, we trekked across a wooden bridge all the way from Owo, and we promised you that if you give us your mandate, there will be a bridge that will cross the river between Owo and Efroto, so that in the next 4 years, we will be able to drive from Owo to Efroto when we come to see you. Today, that bridge is 90% complete, near completion. It is the promise that we have kept. We have represented your challenges. We told you that we will intervene for those our students who are in school. Today, over 500 of our students have benefited from the Reuben Izeze bursary scheme. We have kept our promise to our students. We also told our market women, our traders, our micro traders, that we were not going to leave you behind. Today, over 1,000 of you, micro traders, the Kwekere seller, the Akara fryer, you are beneficiaries of the Reuben Izeze Micro Women Empowerment Scheme. Every promise we have made. In the Ewu area, we said we were going to address the issue of the road between Otoewu and Orere. Today, that road has been completed. We are looking forward to the bridge that will link Orere with Otoewu. And Awania, we promised you that within the availability of resources, there was going to be a bridge that will link Okparabe with Arawanye, so that we do not have to go to Arawanye by boat anymore. That is being addressed, and by the grace of God, in the next administration, it will be dealt with. The people of Uto, we promised you the Bedesega Asa Omafuwe Ejeko Road that had never been in the budget of the Delta State government will be addressed. The governor promised you. Today, that road has been funded in the budget, awaiting to be awarded. The Ughelli Road that had been abandoned for 20 years has today been re-awarded. The Otokotu Road that was in a state of disrepair is today undergoing a holistic rehabilitation. We told you we were going to address your infrastructural challenges, and that we have done. Senator Dr. Arthur Ifeanyi Okowa has kept his promise. Comrade Izeze Ughelli Rume Yakubu Izeze has kept his promise to you. So we call on you on Saturday. Get your PVCs, vote the winning team, vote for consolidation, so that together we'll board the flight and continue on our flight to destination prosperity. Thank you very much.
God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. At this point, there's no more to ask, but to say I'll meet you at the end.
Thank you, Dr. Upper Williams. I'll see you on the other end on Sunday when INEC announces the results. Thank you very much, and I accept your congratulations in advance.
Wow. So, what would you say about the man, Honorable Reuben Rume Yakubu Izeze, a member representing Ughelli South Constituency in the Delta State House of Assembly? Would you have to join me say he has done so much for his people and he needs to be re-elected to do more for his people? And you, the constituent, what do you think? We have a candidate in Honorable Reuben Rume Yakubu Izeze. We'll present him to you. The elections are here. Vote wisely. Vote your conscience. Vote, don't fight. For contributions, comments, and observations on this program, you can reach us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. And that's the much we can take on Deltascope. Watch out for a fresh episode. On behalf of the producer and the production team, I am Onome Iyarue. Thank you very much for coming along. Let's do this again.